What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more of the Cosmos soundtrack, or the music of Cosmos, as the record is stylized. Once again, major shout out to Doug, as I mentioned when I did the previous reaction to this, which was for the Bulgarian Shepherdess song. I have a copy of this record, and I have for some time now, but it's not in great condition. There's pops, there's surface noise. Again, I bought it used on Discogs years ago, and ultimately yeah, it just isn't the greatest copy. So after the first couple reactions to this soundtrack, like a year ago, I think it was like September of 2022, I just basically abandoned it because it was like, until I get a better copy, it doesn't do justice to the quality of the music, which is fair to say. You get vinyl for classical music, for ambient. I once bought a Carbon Based Lifeforms album on record, or on vinyl, and when I got the double LP, and it was mint. The records had surface noise, and I don't know. Maybe they were just like pressed like insufficiently, or there was some aspect of the technical production of the record. But it was basically unlistenable because it's like quiet, like soft, like ambient pads and so on, and it just really spoiled it. So that's how I felt about the music of Cosmos. But in step Doug, and who sent this excellent copy of the record. Indeed, it's like super nice and shiny. So it is nice to have a proper copy of a soundtrack to still maybe the one of the most important things I've seen in my life. I mentioned before, I'm a huge Carl Sagan guy. I think Cosmos literally changed my life. It ended up causing me to read a number of his books, and from those I took great inspiration and insight. So yeah, it's a big part of my life, and it feels appropriate to have a really nice copy. In any case, we're going to listen to another tune by Vangelis, and it's funny, I've known this tune by the way it looks in French. I've never attempted to pronounce it, and I won't do it now, but I will say, because I've never really, taken the time to know what that means, other than just knowing that it's in French. It means, do you hear the dogs barking? At least according to Google Translate. And I feel like that's the type of phrase, I can't imagine that's a mistranslation, or at the very least, like maybe the particular wording might be done differently by a different translator. But yeah, do you hear the dogs barking? So it's interesting because this tune, it gets played in moments where Sagan's either talking about biology on Earth or things related to humanity, and it's the creative flowering but vulnerability of life. Like, it often, I think, plays during parts where he's talking about biology and humans specifically. So it's interesting to note that that's the title, which I never did. So in any case, let's listen. This is Vangelis. The tune is, or translated is, Do You Hear the Dogs Barking? And it's used, I don't know what it's originally from, but it's used in the Cosmos, or the music of Cosmos soundtrack. Still some pops. But I assure you, much better than my copy. not sure you ever hear the full version there in the soundtrack. You definitely hear that part a lot where it first comes in with those chimes. But yeah, like I said, it just makes me think of the Cosmos series. I'm imagining the blue marble picture of Earth, or the pale blue dot photo. I'm imagining Sagan talking about the diversity but also fragility of life on Earth, and different ecosystems and so on. It's just it's inextricably bound up in my viewing of and appreciation for the show. But yeah, to answer Vangelis' question, no, I don't hear the dogs barking. I just hear very cosmic, floaty music. Perhaps in Earth orbit type of music, and looking down at the splendor that is our planet Earth. I don't know. It's funny, like watching Cosmos over the years. There's been times like 20 years ago where it was like, man, it's a bummer Sagan died like a decade ago. We could use him now. I feel like, never more true than now, it feels like. But I suppose that's partly what my, ambient mixes and some of the trance mixes where I use samples from Sagan, just trying to keep alive his words and ideas, also in the context of the music I enjoy. So, yeah, we all do our little parts to keep alive Cosmos and Mr. Sagan. So, shout out to Doug once again, really do appreciate it. And again, I mentioned, there's some pops in there. There's a couple moments where you could hear that it's a vinyl copy, but as I said, it's just infinitely better than my copy. So it's nice to get back to this. Not sure, not everything that you hear in Cosmos is on here. So I'm not sure. There's like this like chant piece. It's like, I think it's like formal chant. I don't know if it's actually what we call Gregorian chant, like late Middle Ages monastic music, but ultimately it's one of the tunes that I don't think is included here. So I'll have to search around on the vinyl, because as I think I mentioned, it's like each cut, which on most albums would be a track, here is like a medley of a few tracks. So each cut is like 3 or 4 tunes. So I'll go through, I'll see what else that really connects to me in certain parts of the show. I'll see what else we have on offer. I'll go through it. I did want to mention to Doug, I'm going to go back through another Klaus Know Me tune soon, or a remix. And now knowing what vocals he is capable of, perhaps I'll be less stunned and shocked than I was during that first reaction. So big shout out to you and all the champions of the channel who provide music and allow me to go on these deep dives. You are very much appreciated. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.